Doing it. All right. I'm not touching my testes. Just testes the sound out. 1, 2, 3. I don't know why I drink my coffee that way. All right. I think I'm about to get this started. I don't know what I'm going to talk about, so let's just do this thing, and hopefully I can go for about 15, 20 minutes and go from there. So, woo.
Hello, America. It's time to check the nonsense at the door, clear the cobwebs between your ears, and have a rational-ish conversation. This is the lost art of common sense.
That's right, America. I'm Kevin. And, that's right. Josh is away. Josh is currently doing some missionary work. He is colonizing for clicks. You may be asking yourself, what is that? And what it is Josh, as a white male podcaster, decided he should go around to the Caribbean islands, sticking these bad boys everywhere and showing the islanders the awesomeness of our podcast. And for our listeners, the thing I just put up was a bunch of stickers. So basically, he's just putting stickers everywhere throughout the Caribbean islands. And so hopefully we do not get in trouble for that. So we could like to call it colonizing for clicks. And we will be doing this every time we travel to another place. Hopefully. We don't travel much other than Texas and Iowa. That's about the extent of my travels. Josh, on the other hand, goes on a cruise everywhere. He's better be putting this on the cruise ship too. So colonizing for clicks. So we just felt that was an appropriate name, so we adopted it. Obviously, like I said, Josh is not here. He's gone. I'm actually recording this the morning after we did our last podcast. Obviously, it's morning. I'm having coffee. It may or may not have a little Irish to it. I'm not going to tell you. So I just want to talk about, let's just say, I haven't really planned this out. I'm just kind of winging it for y'all. So you're not going to have too much of a lapse between episodes. I know whatever amount of you listen to us, you continue to listen to us and you like, share, subscribe, all that stuff. Because I know you really want to, you just never do. So I don't know if you're teasing us or you're just not doing it. So whatever. So I think this week I will be talking about politicians, Democrats mostly, and the lies they tried to sell us. Recently, the New Mexico governor pretty much just subverted 2A in the Constitution, the Second Amendment, and said that it was her right as a governor that she can suspend the Constitution when there's an emergency. The only time this is allowed is during martial law, and it is so unless she declared martial law, she cannot suspend this Constitution. Obviously, it happened. She did because after an 11-year-old child got killed in crossfire in a gunfight, I guess, in Albuquerque. I don't know if she just did it for Albuquerque or she did it all for New Mexico. New Mexico being on the border with Texas is a surprising place to have a governor, be as forthright and willy-nilly with the Constitution. I don't know how it happened, but you cannot just subvert the Constitution, your Second Amendment rights or any. It'd be like saying you can't say certain words. She says there's limits on speech. There's no limits on speech. You can say whatever you want. There's consequences to saying what you want, but you can say what you want. It'd be like, hey, you can no longer, make fun of the president because he's an elder geriatric that, can't do his job right and is corrupt as hell. See, in a place where the First Amendment didn't have that, you didn't have First Amendment rights, I could go to jail for such things. So, I mean, you can't, obviously you can't threaten a politician. You can't threaten anybody with immediate danger, saying you're going to murder them, obviously. You can say it. You're just going to get picked up by the police for saying you're going to murder somebody, because that is that's leading to a crime, or possibly leading to a crime. Now, when the FBI raids somebody because some elderly fat dude said he was going to harm President Biden, then they went to his house, then they killed him, and he was obviously a guy who barely could walk. He was fat and would never carry out his plan. So I don't know if they ever released details on what happened on that, but it seemed a little fishy to me. So, but getting back to my point, you can't just suspend the Second Amendment because you don't like it, because because you decry an emergency. And I believe this is a way for the powers that be to test the waters, to see if the public will follow through with whatever they say. A lot of us did it during lockdowns, and certain few of us, this guy Josh, we didn't go along with the norms. We thought also we were essential workers, I guess, as you say, but that kind of made it to where this podcast was born, because we didn't feel like lockdowns were right. All the COVID mandatory shit, we didn't, and that's where this was born. So Democrats say they're for democracy and for the people, but what they are for is power. And if you can't see that, you're blind. Everything they do is another step towards tyranny. And I don't say that lightly, because tyranny gets thrown out a lot, tyranny, Nazi, all that stuff. But it actually looks like tyranny. It's right there in front of you. Their step-by-step process is just trying to take away your rights little by little. And they're doing a good job of it. One, they're making more people dependent on the government. The more dependent you are on the government, the more power they have, the more they can dictate your life. And so maybe this inflationary process is on purpose. This out-of-control spending is on purpose, so they can say, hey, you guys are doing it wrong. We'll take over from here, even though they're the ones doing it. Most people, like we said last week, I don't know if we actually did say it or not, but they're master manipulators, and that's part of being part of the elite class. Is they can manipulate you in thinking they're right. And they're trying to do that. They're trying to tell you, so what they're doing is dividing this country. Not too long ago, at all, I would say George W. Bush era, this country was together. Obviously, after 9/11, we all came together as a country. It's sad that it took a tragedy like that to make this country whole, but it did. Then once Barack Obama got into office, all of a sudden there's race problems. There's, class problems. There's all kinds of problems popping up. And without evidence, they would say they decry racism. And it has just gotten worse with all these new, I don't know, sex, gender shit, race, where I would have to believe that most people are not racist. They're not. And if that's a surprise to you, just look around. There's not really any hate crimes going on. They're hard. I mean, every so often there is. And I'm not going to lie, that shit in Florida where that dude killed people in a Dollar General because he was he's a piece of shit, basically. So, it does happen. In a country of 330 million, you're going to get a few odd ducks, a few pieces of shit. It's just what it is. So, but for the most part, I know on the side of the right, mostly what they want is just, you know, just leave us the fuck alone. Make government small, leave us the fuck alone. That's what we want. And I'm not saying like it's very very disturbing what's going on with this country. How one party is constantly trying to split us in 2 or 3 or 10. Because the more they pit us against each other, the more they can come in and seize control. So, I mean, it's a sad state of affairs. It's something most people are not recognizing because they're so caught up in the outer world, I guess, what they perceive as what they're being told is racist, what they're being told is happening, instead of just looking in their community. If you look inside your community, seriously, look inside your community. How many race problems actually are there? How many violent crimes are there towards just one certain race or one certain group of people? How many violent crimes have you actually heard of against a trans person? They're being told they're the most, there's a mass, genocide of trans people. There's not. Once you're 18, you can do what you want. But they're counting genocide as us not wanting children to be mutilated or castrated. And so they're being told by the media and their politicians, their favorite AOC or whoever the hell it is, their favorite person in politics, that yes, there's an absolute problem. They're not letting you be yourself. Like, no, we don't mind you being yourself. We just want you to be an adult and be yourself. Because let's be honest, kids are dumb. They are. They don't know who the hell they are. And basically, even at 18, they still don't know who they are anymore. The brain is not fully developed till 26. So I would even be somebody to say that you shouldn't do anything to your body permanently till you're 26. Now, if you want to get a butterfly tattoo on your lower back, I wouldn't suggest that either. But that's not life-changing. Getting a mass mastectomy or, cutting off your ding-dong, that's permanent. That's going to alter your life. Your little butterfly with the roses on each side or something, not suggested on your back, but it's not really suggested anywhere. But I mean, get a tattoo if you want. That's not, well, maybe not the face right away. That should wait till a little bit. But they're not letting kids get tattoos. You know why? Because who the hell will allow a kid to get a tattoo? So, I mean, if you're not allowing a kid to get a tattoo, why are they allowing kids to get chemically castrated and permanently alter their biological makeup? It's a sad state of affairs. This country is getting really divisive, more divisive than I think it actually needs to be. I think if people would actually talk to each other, not just immediately label each other, if they actually had a conversation, an intellectual conversation where there's back and forth, where there's questions and answers, not yelling and insults and your truth. If you would look at the truth, then I think this country would be a lot better. I'm just kind of going off tangent to tangent. It's because I had no script, and I'm just kind of doing this first thing in the morning. It's basically my wake up call. So, like I said, maybe I'll do another one of these. Maybe I won't. It's really hard to talk to yourself. All I'm doing is seeing myself in a screen and just spouting words. It's a lot easier with back and forth. And so, if anybody wants to join this podcast, maybe when one of us are gone, like Josh is, or I was a month or so ago, then please let us know. We really want to expand this podcast, and the best way to expand the podcast is obviously by getting guests. So, I would really enjoy that. uh, a new perspective. I know how Josh thinks. We think a lot alike. So, I don't want to be in an echo chamber of just us two back and forth, and people who I like a diverse, uh, diverse audience and a diverse guest. Somebody maybe doesn't think the same way we do. Not like diverse, like you know, uh, color or gender ideology. I mean, if they want to, they can come on here. I just want a diverse, maybe political view or a diverse opinion on a certain, like a diverse opinion on a certain topic. Maybe you agree with us for 90% of stuff, and 10% you're like, these guys are idiots. Tell us we're idiots. I don't care. I'm going to argue that fact, but I will certainly take your argument seriously, and I will do what I can to have an intellectual conversation about that argument. We're not going to be mean spirited. We'll never put anybody down, a guest or whatever. We will have actual arguments. Now, if it gets, the guest happens to get like a little rowdy, gloves are off. But I'm hoping that will never be the case. So if you want to be a guest, please let us know. Yeah, that's basically it. Remember to like, subscribe, share, all that stuff. Sorry this is so short. I really didn't know what I was going to talk about. I really still don't know. I'm trying to just do general topics. What else has been happening? Trump is kind of doing stuff that, I mean, I think Trump is our best option as president as far as I can see, because the swamp is so bad right now and needs to be cleared out. And I think Trump's the one to do it, but Trump is also trying to shoot himself in the foot by all this COVID talk, how he saved 100 million lives with the vaccine, and the vaccine, for the most part, his base is not too happy about. He keeps wishy-washy on Fauci, saying he couldn't fire him, but he absolutely could have. Gave him, they didn't say he gave him a presidential award, which he did. He just said, I don't know who gave him that award. It's the presidential award, so he would have had to approve it. So there's things about Trump that has changed since 2016, and I'm hoping not too much. I feel like he's more egotistical. He's always had a huge ego, but it seems like he wants his presidency to fulfill himself, fulfill something in himself more than to help the American people as he did in 2016. I think maybe once he gets in office, that will all change. I'm hoping it will, but it's a little leeriness I have about Trump, and we need to just keep an eye on it. It's not like there's not a whole lot of other options. Obviously, Biden might get impeached, but I doubtful, because the Senate's never going to get the votes to impeach Biden. But I think maybe it's enough to maybe there's tell him not to run. I think our people are already telling him not to run, and also telling Kamala Harris not to run because everybody hates her. So it's going to be interesting in the next year or so to see how this presidential race goes on. Obviously with the Trump trials, Biden getting impeached. I mean, this country is looking very foolish to the Chinese and the Russians and any big player in the world, everybody in Europe. I mean, we have pretty much two geriatrics who are going through a process that does not look good for them. And this is our two best options in America, 330 some million people. And our two best options are two old ass people who are both in either legal trouble or political trouble. And it just seems like, what are we doing, America? I mean, are we this, divisive to where we can't come together and just find anybody else? let's just move back to the center if need be. Let's find a center Democrat or a center Republican if need be. I'm just trying to figure out ways that we can get this country back together. So if you have any ideas on how we could possibly try to do that, please, throw it out in the comments. I'd love to talk about it. But I think that's basically it. Like I said, it's a bunch of rambling. Sorry you had to listen to most of this. But if you enjoyed it, well, like it, subscribe, and share. Thank you, everybody, for listening. I am Kevin, and this was The Lost Art of Common Sense. Common Sense! Common Sense! America. Is this not stopping? Why isn't it stopping? It's still got a counter. What the fuck? Why isn't it stopping? What the fuck? God damn it. I'm not doing this again. I did fucking 30 fucking minutes, 20 some minutes podcast, and the fucking thing won't stop. It says stopping, and it's still recording. And it said something went wrong with stopping, please refresh. But if I refresh, I'll lose everything.
No, I don't think you will, because it live uploads.
Better. Reload.
What, you didn't write a script? You can't just redo it?
No, I didn't write a fucking script.